Today we're going to be looking at Magic the Gathering cards, the worst ones at the end step. Oh, let me get a little bit of music here, and I'm going to start it off with none other than Antagonism. This is a 4-mana enchantment. During each player's discard phase, Antagonism deals 2 damage to that player unless one of their opponents was successfully dealt damage this turn. So if you do not do harm to someone else, well, guess what? They're probably going to do harm to you. All right, next up, we got Toads with the Final Fortune. This one's super dangerous. It's 2-mana instant. Take an extra turn after this one, but at the end of that turn, you could potentially lose the game. So you take it's the ultimate. That's the word. That's arguably probably the worst card in the game to have at the end step. You're gonna need to like counter that trigger. Is it a trigger that happens at the beginning of that turn's end step? Yeah, I bet it triggers. You're gonna lose the game. Stifle that thing the best you can. Hexenort, Form of the Dragon. Form of the Dragon, a 7-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, Form of the Dragon deals 5 damage to target creature or player. At the end of each turn, your life total becomes 5. Well, I mean, it's actually possible that this helps you, right? What if you're at 1 life? Then all of a sudden you gained life out of this thing. The dragon is the life bringer. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't trust the one. It's at the end of each turn, your life. Yeah, I wouldn't trust it to be helping me in any way, unless I mean, at first it's gonna hurt you, and then after that, probably it helps you if you can keep alive from there on. John with the Warrior's Oath. Warrior's Oath is a red sorcery. Another card. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you also lose the game. Man, are these yeah, it's a popular card. People like taking their extra turns. For some people, they only need 1 more turn. And you know what? If they don't win on that turn, well, screw it. Their deck wasn't going to do anything for the rest of the game anyway. So just scrap the whole thing. We got Little Dead Fly with Last Chance. Is this like another you lose the game card? Red. So this is not the same. How many of these cards exist? Okay, I guess today is the show where you learn how to take extra turns, and that's your last turn. Sorcery, take an extra turn after this one, and also at the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. Pact Titan, you die. No, you don't die at your end step, right? Those are all upkeep triggers. Mean Bruley with the Blistering Firecat. Dude, says TCG dude. Okay, we have a 4-mana 7/1 cat with flying and not flying, trample and haste. At the end of turn, you have to sacrifice your Blistering Wildcat. That is true. You're gonna lose your card. You can also morph it, so it can stay on the battlefield forever. And then I guess one day it turns into a supernova and then blasts off into space. Team Rocket blasting off again. Who else do we have here? We have Kankusha with Alchemist's Gambit. Another one of these? This is a 3-mana sorcery, but it has Cleave for 7. Take an extra turn after this one. During that turn, damage can't be prevented. And then, of course, the Cleave brackets. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. But if you pay 7, you're not going to lose the game. It's just a really, really, really expensive, what's it called? Time Warp. And Teferi's Protection all wrapped up into one. Somehow in blue and red. Next up, we've got Surefire Selves with Greed's Gambit. We have a 4-mana enchantment. When Greed's Gambit enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards and you gain 6 life. And create 3/2/1 black bat creature tokens with flying. At the beginning of your end step, however, you must discard a card, lose 2 life, and you must sacrifice a creature. When Greed's Gambit leaves the battlefield, you discard 3 cards, lose 6 life, and sacrifice 3 creatures. So the longer the Greed's Gambit stays on the battlefield, the longer your pain is going to be. We got Crowcore Games with Grafted Skullclap. Grafted Skull Cap? Is it gonna like pick in your brain or something? 4-mana artifact. At the beginning of your draw step, draw a card. But at the end of your turn, discard your hand. Wow, that's brutal. Unless you're using your graveyard or Madness. Put this in the Madness deck. Perfect synergy in a Madness deck. Every day I fight for my life and win. Every night I fight to remember my name and lose. Oh, it's the Memento guy. For anyone that's watched Memento before. Okay, we got John. Thank you so much for your super chat, John. Sire of Insanity. Is this a end step trigger? Oh, it is. At Sire of Insanity, a 6-mana, 6/4. It's a demon. At the beginning of each end step, each player discards the hand. That's it. Say goodbye to it. We're only playing top deck mode. It should be called top deck mode. The Sire of top deck mode. Next up. I think we did all. Did we not do all of them? Glorious End. Now I don't remember. Pretty sure we did this one. But anyway, 3-mana instant, end of turn, end the turn. At the beginning of your next end step, you lose the game. Oh, actually, no, we didn't do this one. I think we did all the take an extra turn cards. But yeah, we didn't do the end of the turn. The Red Stifle. Wow, that's pain. It costs more than Stifle. No, it's different. It's like a counter spell too. You know, it does a lot of things. It does a lot of things. Okay, next up, let's take Toilet Duck Dress Down. Okay. It's a funny card. A 2-mana flash. When it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. Though the problem is it's only temporary because at the beginning of the end step, you have to sacrifice your Dress Down. I think it's called Pants Down. They're going to get their pants back at end step. And when they get their pants back, I'm in for an absolute beating. Okay, next up, let's look at... Did we do this one? Nalathni Dragon. Nalathni. No, we most definitely did not do this card. It's a 1/1 dragon with flying and banding. Pay a red. Nalathni Dragon gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If this ability has been activated 4 or more times this turn, sacrifice Nalathni Dragon at the beginning of the next end step. Well, so it's capping how many times I can pump it up? Fire breathing. If you breathe too hard, you might burn out your lungs. If this ability has been activated 4 more times, yeah, that's it. They're capping it. Oh, you can only fire breathe 3 times a turn. If you go 4, well, you probably burn the whole house down. Does one with I don't think one with nothing is just a sorcery, right? Just discard your hand. It's not even close to. It's not in the same world as this. It's got to be something that triggers at end step. Something bad's got to happen at end step. Generally, at least it can at least affect you. Christopher B with the Psychic Vortex. We have a 4-mana enchantment, Commune of Upkeep, draw a card. But at the end of each of your turns, sacrifice a land and discard your hand. Oh my god, that is terrible. I don't know, is it worth it? I mean, maybe it's still worth it. It's a reserve list card. Commune of Upkeep, draw a card. Draw 1 card, then 2, then 3, then 4. But you have to... So basically, you have to put this in a deck where you have to dump your hand. Maybe in a deck with a bunch of zeros. A deck with a bunch of zeros. And maybe you can play extra lands a turn. It fascinates me. I think this card has a lot of potential. I think it's got unlocked potential. It doesn't do anything immediately, but maybe it will do it eventually. I don't get it. I don't understand why people keep suggesting Bearer of the Heaven. Bearer of the Heaven. How is this? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Little Deadfly. Little Deadfly actually suggested this card at the beginning, and like I pre-disqualified it. Okay, we're gonna give you a little bit of credit, Little Deadfly. Bearer of the Heavens, 8 mana for a 10/10 giant. When it dies, destroy all permanents at the beginning of the next end step. It's a bit more conditional than the other cards, but you know what? You're right. Actually, this card totally counts. I guess the key is you just have to not get to your end step. Make sure when it dies, you just somehow dodge it. You got to end the turn. End the turn immediately. We're gonna move to Algot. Burning Cinder. What the heck? This is a real card? Burning Cinder, Fury, Crimson, Chaos Fire. Uncard. Less the N. Troublesome Spirit. We got 4 mana for a 3/4 Spirit. Flying. At the end of your turn, tap all lands you control. That feels sad at the end of your turn. This card's not even that big. It's a 4 mana 3/4. During prophecy, you know what? During the prophecy age, that was probably big at the time. It's not so big now. How about we get to who have? I mean, there's a bunch of people who have no card yet. I gotta get where is somebody with a comment? Magic Nation MTG with how about Sink into Takanuma? This is a 4 mana sorcery. Sweep. Return any number of swamps you control to their owner's hand. Target player discards a card for each swamp returned this way. No, this is not an end step card. Alan with Desolation. 3 mana enchantment. At the end of each turn, each player who tapped a land for mana during that turn sacrifices a land. If a plane's a sacrifice this way, Desolation deals 2 damage to that plane's controller. So extra punishing if they have a planes. So wait, what? You're not allowed to tap lands for mana anymore? Terrible. Steve Cooper. Wow, Steve Cooper, you have like supreme lag. Glorious End, if not done yet. We did it. I did it in favor of you. Yeah, I guess you have to catch it on the replay. Okay, we're going to do 3 donations then from Steve Cooper. First, Christopher Viaz saying Desolation. Oh, we got a lot of lag here today. Okay, we got a baited monk also with Glorious End. No, we just did that one. It was like a sniped super chat, self-sniped super chat. Islarf done for the day. Because to use it, I have to learn stickers. That sounds terrible. We have a 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you control an employee, a performer, or a robot, you may get a ticket or create a treasure token. If you control all 3, you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. You know what? I agree. I don't understand this card. Therefore, I never want to reach the end step. Okay, next super chat donated. We go to Chows. Avaricious Dragon. A 4 mana 4/4 dragon flying. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card. But at the beginning of your end step, you have to discard your hand. Why do all the dragons? They want to discard our hands. They're taking our cards away. I guess that's the cost for having a Howling Mine on a creature. Affordable creature too. It's only a 4 mana 4/4. Very affordable. Benjamin Berkeley, you also get a super chat. Ideas Unbound. Two mana sorcery. Draw 3 cards, discard 3 cards at end of turn. Checks out. There are a lot of combo decks that like this card though. Because you still get the 3 cards. And also it's an arcane card. Maybe you can splice it onto something. I've never spliced anything onto anything in my entire life. And we got... Elgot says, I use the donation for Burning Cinder for... No, you can't use the donation like that. You must donate. I don't even know what that is. I don't want to read it. Okay, we got Fireburn. Demonic Rising is pretty trash. This isn't really... Actually, this is the one show. It's not necessarily the worst cards at the end step. It's just cards that are bad to have at the end step. Demonic Rising, the 5-mana enchantment at the beginning of your end step. If you control exactly one creature, put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. That's a great card. That you literally get something out of that. Sounds great. Norn the Wary? I don't know if Norn the Wary. I don't know if that counts. Isn't that a good thing to have at the end step? When a player plays a spell, you remove Norn the Wary from the game, return it to play under its owner's control at end of turn. It's there for the ETBs. Jack Solaris. Thank you very much for your super chat. Demonic Lore. Demonic Lore. 3-mana enchantment, enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, and also at the beginning of your end step, you lose 2 life for each card in your hand. That is that is insanely punishing. This is a bad. Well, it enters the battlefield, draw, but we did get to draw 3 cards. I guess it's better like super late in the game when you have a lot of mana up and you just want like, you know, a random ancestral recall. I guess it works that way. Why have I changed the rules? I have not changed the rules. Very rarely I give people I mean, sometimes I give people uncards if I accidentally do it. I know your card is an uncard. I know it. Uncards aren't real cards. They're uncards. A blackbird. Boarded window. 3-mana artifact. Creatures attacking you get -1, -0. But at the beginning of each end step, if you are dealt 4 or more damage this turn, you must exile the artifact. This is Ensnaring Bridge at Home or something. I don't even know what to call this. It's a very bad Planeswalker +1. Because there's some Planeswalker +1s. You tick it up, and then creatures attacking you get -1, -0 for the turn. Okay, next super chat, also from Jack Solaris. Curious Obsession. You know, I almost forgot this thing had a downside. It's a blue aura, enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. But at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature, like anything on the board, you have to sacrifice your Curious Obsession. There's every so often, I played with Curious Obsession quite a bit. I had so many games on Magic Online or even on Arena where I'm like, these attacks don't look so good. I pass. Oh no, my Curious Obsession went poof. Didn't like it. Was not pleased. Was not proud. Toads, Bronze Bombshell. 4-mana 4/1. When a player other than Bronze Bombshell owner controls it, it's okay. That player sacrifices it. If the player does, Bronze Bombshell deals 7 damage. Oh, but not at the end step. Disqualified. But this is an end step show. Does it have anything to do with the end step? No, it has nothing to do with the end step. Its downside makes this aura pretty bad. No, well, hey, this actually saw a lot of play. This won a Pro Tour. This is a very strong card for a long time in Standard and Pioneer. It actually was very good. Dustin Newby says, did we do Chance for Glory? Chance for Glory, probably. No, we didn't, actually. Okay, there's a 3-mana instant. Creatures you control gain Indestructible. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, though, you lose the game. Another lose the game card. See, that's why you got to go blue, everyone, all right? You can take extra turns and not lose the game. In fact, the whole point of going blue is you take extra turns to take more extra turns. In red, you get 1 extra turn, and then that's it. You're dead. It's the end of you. Pixel Asylum! Sorry, you got sniped. We did that one already. I think we've done almost all these take an extra turn cards. Thank you very much for the super chat, the Pixel Asylum. If you have another card, I'll keep an eye out for you. But we'll donate your super chat too. I guess Toilet Duck, Captivating Glance. If you don't win the Clash for whatever reason, this is some big fellow. We have a 3-mana aura. Enchant creature. At At the end of your turn, clash with an opponent. If you win, gain control of the enchanted creature. Otherwise, that player gains control of the enchanted creature. That has nothing at the... Oh, sorry. It is at the end of your turn. Okay. That works. And by it works, yeah, it could be a problem. You can end up losing your creature. Hey, you're taking a flip of the coin, all right? Maybe you better have like a lot of very expensive cards in your deck. Built to win the clash. Next up, Fireburn. Thank you very much for your super chat. New show idea. Amazing art, but bad card or flipped. You know what? I think I could get behind that. I think I could. That's a great idea. One. Great art, bad card. That way, we're never offending the artists. We're offending Wizards of the Coast, and you know what? I can get behind that. Okay, with that super chat, we're going to donate. Let's donate to the Pixel Asylum, who also donate. We did Bearer of the Heavens. You guys have to get a little bit more creative. The Chain Veil from Just a Random Mage. Not random at all, in fact. 4 mana legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't activate a loyalty ability of a Planeswalker this turn, you lose 2 life. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I guess if you have a Planeswalker out... I guess if you don't have a Planeswalker out, that's the problem. Pay 4, tap. For each Planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn has been... For each Planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn, as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated this turn. Okay, Algot wants redemption with Alchemist's Gambit. Did we do this one? Today is just going to be the show of a bunch of, like, snipes and stuff like that. Yeah, we did this one. That's not a real card. Christopher B. Plague Reaver. I can always count on Christopher B. Christopher B is going to have... by the way, that was a technically donated super chat. 3 mana for a 6/5 beast. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice each other creature you control. You gotta be kidding me. It is a 3 mana 6/5. That's insane. It's almost like Primeval Titan on turn 3. I guess it's not that more crazy than a Rotting Regisaur. Discard 2 cards, sacrifice Plague Reaver, choose target opponent, return Plague Reaver to the battlefield under that player's control at the beginning of their next end step. Wow, we can we can give somebody the Plague Reaver, and then they have to blow up the rest of their board. Fascinating. Is that a one? Is that a promo? Fruit Cake Elemental. Yeah, this is like, well, it's a holiday card. 3 mana. It's indestructible. At the end of your turn, deals 7 damage to you. Yeah, that's not good. Pay 3. Target player gains control of the Fruitcake Elemental. Next super chat from Dangerous One. Racolite. Six mana artifact. Pay 2. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Then return Racolite to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. What? Have we ever seen this card before? This is definitely up there for some of the worst cards of all time. I guess with infinite mana you can prevent all the damage this turn, but still it's like it's like a really bizarre 8 mana card. Yeah, easily one of the worst cards ever. Where's the Titanic sound effect? We have to pull out the Titanic sound effect. Urza was the first to understand that the war would not be lost for lack of power, but lack of troops. Also lack of mana. And maybe patience. Okay, next up. Crowcore Games with the Voodoo Doll. Six mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a pin counter on the Voodoo Doll at the beginning of your end step. If Voodoo Doll is untapped, sacrifice it, and it deals damage equal to the number of pin counters on it to you. Why would I play this? Pay XX tap. Voodoo Doll deals X damage to target creature or player. X is the number of pin counters on Voodoo Doll. If Voodoo... Oh, I see. So we have to keep tapping it every single turn. Very interesting card. Very interesting design. Basically, you have to... But I don't know. I never knew a Voodoo doll can come back and attack you. I thought this was a one-way street. All the pins hit the voodoo person. Farg with us dono for random in chat. Getting a lot of donations today. Who wants a donation? Christopher B. Glimmervoid. Okay, land at the beginning of your end step. If you control no artifacts, sacrifice your Glimmervoid. I have most definitely got my opponents to lose their Glimmervoid. It's incredibly satisfying. Otherwise, they tap to add 1 mana of any color. You know what? You haven't lived until you, like, I don't know, Hurkyl's recalled or just destroyed or bounced their only artifact in play, and then they lose their Glimmervoid. It's like you played Stone Rain on them. So satisfying. Whale of Darkness with the Dross Harvester. 3 mana for a 4/4 horror. Protection from white. At the beginning of your end step, you lose 4 life. What? What kind of upside is that? Whenever a creature dies, you gain 2 life. I guess we have to kill a lot of creatures. I need to get ahead of this life loss here. 4 life every turn. I have to kill 2 creatures a turn just to stay stable. It is a 3 mana 4/4, I guess. It's got that going for it. Also has protection from white, protection from solitude, swords to plowshares, path to exile. A lot of useful stuff there. Chows. Blood Curdler. Fights its own threshold effect for some reason. Really? Okay, this is a 2 mana 1/1 horror flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. That's good. Threshold. Blood Curdler gets +1/+1 and has at the end of your turn remove 2 cards in your graveyard from the game. That's bad. That is so bad. Not only is this card bad at the end, so I think it's just bad in general. You have yourself a 2 mana 1/1. This is like, I don't know, this is like a trap to put in your threshold like deck, because you're just never gonna keep threshold online. It's gonna be incredibly difficult. Abated Monk does Season of the Witch count. Season of the Witch. Triple black enchantment. At the end of each player's turn, all of their untapped creatures that could have attacked but did not are destroyed. And if you do not pay 2 life during your upkeep, Season of the Witch is destroyed. I think I'm going to opt to not pay the 2 life. Effects that prevent or redirect damage may not be used to counter this loss of life. 100% it counts. Awful card. I'm not going to say it's an awful card, but, you know, it's awkward. Okay, Jack Solaris, Captive Audience. I got donated this once after casting it. Yeah, I guess you could start thinking of all the cards people could potentially donate to you. 7 mana for an enchantment. Enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Oh, no, but it has nothing to do with the end step. Your life total becomes 4. Discard your hand. Each opponent. Yeah, so, disqualified. Benjamin Berkeley, Goryo's Vengeance. You can splice it onto Ideas Unbound. You can! You draw a lot of cards. Goryo's Vengeance, a 2 mana instant. Return target legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. The creature gains haste, but you have to exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Reanimation for 1 turn, so make the best of it. Usually these days, they just get a Traxa. So they made the best of it. Sorry, I misremembered the card. Oh, was it a different card? Let me know what it is, and I'll try to get to you. But anyway, we're going to look at more cards. Terrible at the end step. I don't know why you'd want to play with those cards. Maybe to donate them. And I'll tell you, where do you get them from? You can get them from today's sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com. Not only can you get singles, you can also get Magic the Gathering Foundations. You can pre-order Aether Drift. You can also save the tax, the GST and HST in Canada. What else can you? You can get Innistrad Remasters. And when you get them bad cards at the end step, don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And if you want to rent all the bad cards, you can rent them with Mana Traders. And if they're too bad for you, you can always send them back. when you're renting on Magic. You play on Magic Online, rent the cards with Mana Traders. It's cheaper if you want to play with every single card in Magic the Gathering. It's a banless saver. If you're afraid of your cards getting banned, their cards get banned, and it lets you play as many decks as you want and as many formats as you want. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_8GS. And back the terrible cards at the end step. Alagot's going for the double redemption. I'm rooting for you, Alagot. I'm rooting for you. Racolite. We did that one. Damn it. Are you just intentionally choosing cards that we've looked at? I think he's like 5. I think Alagot is 5 minutes behind the show. Maybe everyone's 5 minutes behind the show. Toads, Chance for Glory. We did that one too. Bryce, Toxrill. The Corrosive. 7 mana for a 7/7 Slug Horror. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on it. But whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug. Oh, at the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Isn't that a good thing? Creatures you don't control get a -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. When it dies, create. This is good. Disqualified. Did you read the card, Bryce? Bryce read at the beginning of the end step. Just submitted immediately. And yeah, it's no show without that Toxrill, no matter what the title is. Just finds its way into almost every show that's possible. Why is that Racolite card so bad? Is that intentional? Look, it's just the design at the time. Back then, all the cards were bad. Consuming Oni. Let's get back on track, Toilet Duck. Toilet Duck will do it. Alchemy card. 4 mana for a 6/6 Ogre Demon that has Flying and Menace. So nobody's blocking that thing. At the beginning of your end step, a random non-land card in your hand perpetually gains. When you cast this spell, you lose 3 life. What a weird downside. That's wild. Only in Alchemy. That's all I can say. Only in Alchemy. Crocor Game says, boo! This card, boo. This card is evil. This and Cormus Bell and the land that makes land swamps is evil. You're talking about the Racolite card. Chaz, I hate slime counters. I've lost so many games against them. Crocor Games with the Tortured Chamber. Sorry, not just Torture Chamber. People get tortured there. Why are there more of these? 3 mana artifact. During your upkeep, put a pain counter on the Torture Chamber. You're gonna feel the pain. Wow, it's Karn. Karn feels the pain. At the end of your turn, Torture Chamber deals 1 damage to you for each pain counter on it. And then pay 1, tap, remove all pain counters from Torture Chamber. Torture Chamber deals 1 damage for each pain counter on it to target creature. Yeah, it was a bizarre time back then. Back then is unplayable, bad now, or supremely busted. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the power level of cards back then just swung so much. Chris Bonehead, Bloodhound. Basically 1/1 vanilla. Basically 3 mana 1/1 hound. When you're dealt damage, you may put that many +1/+1 counters on the Bloodhound. But at the end of your turn, remove all +1/+1 counters from Bloodhound. Whenever you're dealt damage. Oh, I see. So as you're dealt damage, you get the counters. And then you have to make the bet. I guess you just get 1 swing out of it, and then it gets demoted. Not so bloody anymore. You know, just got a little excited. Just needed to get it out of them. Okay, next we have a super chat from Jack Solaris. Thank you so much for your super chats today. Apprentice Necromancer. Also, I misremembered what my last card did. Oh, I see. I understand. Hopefully you know what this card does. A 2 mana 1/1 zombie wizard. Pay a black tap, sacrifice your apprentice necromancer, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, at the beginning of the next end step, you sacrifice it. This is literally Goryo's Vengeance on a creature. It's Magus of the Goryo's Vengeance. If you get my drift. We did Alchemist's Gambit. Okay, Christopher B. Thran. Query. I think today is going to be your day, Christopher B. I think you know all the cards. Land at the end of each turn. If you control no creatures, sacrifice your Thran Query. Tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. This card actually looks pretty good. This card, I think, is a lot better than it looks. The only problem is like when someone uses a board wipe, you're gonna lose it. So make sure you use it as much as you can before you lose it. Brian says, I miss the words each opponent on Toxrill, but Toxrill is bad for me if I'm sitting across from it. Yeah, well, it's not bad for you. It's not the worst magic cards at the end step. We're assuming the person who controls the card, maybe not necessarily owns the card, who controls the card, gets screwed by it. Duke Firebird with the Wound Reflection. 6 mana enchantment. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. Oh, that's great. How much life are you going to lose? Well, how much are you going to... So basically, it just gives everything double strike. Or I get... It also gives spells double strike. You drain life someone, they're going to drain life them for double. Crowcore Game says Magus of the Vengeance sounds like a cool name, to be fair. Yeah, they should have called it Magus of the Vengeance. Would have been perfect. Last thing with Ruin Raider. Uh, 3 mana for a 3/2 Orc Pirate. Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack with a creature this turn, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to that card's converted mana cost. Wow, why does it happen at the end step? Feels like such a... Oh, I guess... Okay, you have to attack. You have to have raided them. You're pillaging there. It's a robbery. It's a strawberry. Oops, Greed's Gambit. Is a Mana Trader stable? Is it now? 4 mana for an enchantment. When Greed's Gambit... Oh, we did this card already. Yeah. Great suggestion, though. Yeah, we did it already. Poop. Okay, well, what have we not done? No, we've done out. We gotta dig deeper. We did Alchemist Gambit. We did Chance for Glory. We did Glorious End. All the ends. Every way to end yourself. We've done it. The Wings of Hubris from Benovsky. 2 mana equipment. Equipped creature has flying. Sacrifice Wings of Hubris. Equipped creature can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step? Equipped creature can't... Oh, so basically... Okay, I get it. The Wings of Hubris. Does this have something to do with... I gotta ask my friend about the Greek mythology here. Was there someone who like... Oh, is this supposed to be Icarus? Is that the idea? The person who flew too close to the sun? I don't know the lore super deep, but yeah, Icarus. Okay. This is what happens when you have a friend who has a master's in Greek mythology. And we were talking the other day about how there is some practical use for Greek mythology because he mentioned how criminals, they get caught because they they get their hand caught in the cookie jar. They go to one too many times, but if they only took one cookie, basically thieves would get away with everything. So if only criminals learned about the lessons of Icarus, they would get away with all their crimes. And I thought that was that's a great way to learn Greek mythology. Okay, next up, the Fox Clouds with Citadel of Pain. A 3 mana enchantment at the end of each player's turn. Citadel of Pain deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands they control. Tap your lands. This card does nothing today, right? Or maybe not nothing. Okay, I think the idea in the past was if you had... when there was mana burn, long time ago, if you had mana floating and you didn't use it, it burned you. Like a sunburn. And so I guess you would have to float your mana. You're either gonna you're gonna get damaged by floating your mana, or you're gonna get damaged for having the lands on tap. So now this is just like it's like a mana short kind of card. Okay, next up we got Jack Solaris with what is this? Measure of Wickedness. We did the Chain Veil. You were there, Jack. 4 mana for an enchantment. At the end of your turn, sacrifice Measure of Wickedness, and you lose 8 life. Huh? The end of your turn? So, well, then what is the upside? Whenever another card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, target opponent gains control of Measure of Wickedness. Ah! It's put into... Oh, I see. So we have to get rid of our cards. Whenever another card is put into your graveyard from anywhere. So I use a removal spell, lost a card. Here you go. Here's the Measure of Wickedness. Enjoy. This is your problem now. His father adding of wax. He flew too high to the sun, melted them, and he fell some. Yeah, there was the hubris. Wouldn't that make the Necromancer shown earlier be a better Goro's Vengeance because it's a vengeance on a body? Not necessarily, because you can kill you can kill any creature that has summoning sickness. Okay, Surefire Selves with Demonic Lore. 3 mana. Oh, we did this one. Damn, we are just not necessarily sniping each other, but a lot of repeats today. Phyrexian Etchings. Phyrexian Etchings is a triple black enchantment. Commutative upkeep of a black. Well, that's not going to be easy to pay. At the end of your turn, draw a card for each age counter on Phyrexian Etchings. That's good! Whenever Phyrexian Etchings is put into a graveyard from play, you lose 2 life for each age counter on it. Oh, sorry. At the end of your turn, draw a card for each age counter on Phyrexian Etchings. What's the downside? When it's put in the graveyard from play, you lose 2 life for each age counter on it. I don't know what the downside to this card is. You draw a card for each age counter. That sounds great! Maybe not on the first turn. Everything else sounds fantastic. Hexenort, the Speed Demon. Speed running. 5 mana for a 5/5 demon with flying and trample. Start your engines! Another one of these. At the beginning of your end step, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is your speed. Oh, okay. You know, for a second I thought we were gonna like lose life equal to the converted mana cost. No, we're just losing life, period. Equal the number of cards that we draw. Trent Sims with Jin Gitaxias. We actually have not got a Jin Gitaxias today. The Core Augur. 10 mana for a 5/4 Praetor with Flash. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. Technically, okay, do you know what? I get where you're going at, but this is good for you. It's not good for your opponents. I see where you're getting at here. Because technically, your opponents, they can't keep their hand no matter what. But this, unfortunately, doesn't affect you. If it was everybody, then I agree. Next up, what do you got here? Oops. Infernal Helion. Inferno Helion. 4 mana for a 7/3 Helion. What's a Helion? Like a giant worm? Trample. At the beginning of each end step, if Inferno Helion attacked or blocked, its owner shuffles it into their library. Oh no. So it's actually sort of like a ball lightning. It's got very ball lightning vibes. You just have to wait a turn. You can smack someone for 7 damage. Benovsky, I hate Jin Gitaxias! Is there an actual card called Recycle? There is! 6 mana enchantment. Skip your draw step whenever you play a card. Draw a card. Your maximum hand size is 2. I can get behind this card. Because at end step, you gotta discard. Well, you gotta discard everything except to 2 cards. Mirror, play card, draw a card. Defeats the purpose of drawing all those cards. This is a good card. Wow, this is a reserve list card that's $5. This card is just asking to be broken, in my opinion. Elgod, did you even get a single card today? Redemption for real. Allura, Merry Thief. This is a 3-mana 3/2 Halfling Rogue. Halfling. It's not a Lord of the Rings card. It's a Baldur's Gate card. Whenever you attack, up to 1 target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Whenever you attack, up to 1 target attacking creature. Ah, I see. So we're going to bounce our own card back to our hand, which is background. In some ways, this could be a good thing if you have ETBs. In general, it will be terrible. Benjamin Berkeley, how about Phantasmal Mount? It's like saddle before saddle, probably. You want to saddle up on that thing? The big horse fish? 2 mana for a 1/1 flyer. Tap target creature you control with toughness 2 or less, gets +1/+1, and gains flying until end of turn. When Phantasmal Mount leaves play this turn, sacrifice that creature. When the creature leaves play this turn, sacrifice Phantasmal Mount. What the hell? And also, does this have anything to do with the end step? Is there like a oracle text of this thing? Target creature you control gets toughness 2 or less, gets +1/+1, gains flying until end of turn. When Phantasmal Mount leaves the battlefield this turn, sack that creature. When that creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sack Phantasmal Mount. I don't think I can count this. I don't understand why this was even suggested. I don't get it. We got the Gozen. Unseal the ancient scripture. Broken Visage. Or is it Broken Visage? We have to... Well, actually, the ancient scripture is not... He wants the ancient scripture. Okay, here's the ancient scripture. 5 mana instant. Bury. Target non-artifact attacking creature. And put a shadow token into play. Treat this token as a black creature with power and toughness equal to the power and toughness of that attacking creature. Then bury. Shadow token at end of turn. How long does it... at the beginning of the next end step. That's a funny card, actually. It's not bad. You get it's a 5 mana removal spell. Like, it looks really good in combat. Blow this thing up. Get a token. Block that thing. Nadim. Welcome, Nadim. Long time no see. Kiki Jiki kind of counts for bad at end of step. Okay, You're going to have a hard time convincing people, Nadim. You have a really hard time convincing people. 5 mana 2/2 haste. Tap, create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature as haste, but then you have to sack at the beginning of the next end step. I guess the idea is you better, if it's bad at end of turn, you better win before you get to the end of turn. Without only this card Zybers, am I doing it right? Which card? Did you suggest a card? We might be talking about a card here. You misread the mount. So did I. Next up. Trensim's like, no, hear me out. Kiki Jiki's effect is actually a downside. Yeah, it's so fair. It's a super fair card. Steve Cooper with no 2 cards yet. Sphinx? Sovereign. 8 mana for that. LOL. And more. 8 mana for a 6/6 flyer. At the end of your turn, you gain 3 life if Sphinx Sovereign is untapped. Otherwise, each opponent loses 3 life. There's like no downside to this. At the end of your turn, you gain 3 life. You still got something out of it, you know? It's better than getting nothing. Oh, you're talking about the horse card? Okay, Christopher B. with the Thought Nibbler. Nibble away your thoughts here. That's like the grand... This is like the grand fear of everyone. Something sucking on your brain. Okay, blue 1/1 beast flying. Your maximum hand size reduced by 2. Another one of these cards. Oh, somehow we didn't do Days Undoing. How do we not get... Wait, does this actually do anything? It's your turn, end the turn. In some sense, that could be a bad thing, especially when you Days Undoing. Okay, 3 mana sorcery. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. Sounds good, right? Well, unfortunately for you, your turn is over. And then your opponent gets to untap with 7 cards. Do we have another Helion, Toilet Duck? Lath, new Helion. I'm surprised more people haven't come up with cards that you have to be sacrificed at end of turn. 3 mana for a 4/4 Helion, haste. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. But at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energy. Wow, that thing's not going to be around for very long. It's going to end up only for a few seconds. Stay for only, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 turns. Abated Monk, Foul Presence. Foul Presence, the 3 mana enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1 and has tap. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. It's a really bad shrinking effect. I mean, it's good at killing off the small creatures, I suppose. If you get to do it. Only temporary though. Okay, we got Pack. That was mentioned before. Hold on. Pact of the Titan. I thought this card was an upkeep card. Am I wrong? It says at the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 5 if you don't lose the game. Yeah, this is... It's not an end step card. It's an upkeep card. Did we do Glory? I'm pretty sure we did Glorious End. Like 99% sure. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure we did. Jack Solaris. Jack, you're very confident today. Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning, triple red, 6/1 Trampler, haste. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this creature. Just make sure you don't attack into a first striker, because then you're going to sacrifice it immediately. We need to do bad upkeep cards next, it seems. I think we've done that. That's the problem. It should be on your cheat sheet, Steve Cooper. Steve Cooper has recorded every single show I've done ever. I'm sure it's there. What are we missing here? Is there anyone that didn't get a card yet? By the way, you're allowed to have no 2 cards yet. You're allowed to have no 3 cards at this point. Okay, Toilet Duck with Duplicity. This is an unusual card. 5 mana enchantment. When Duplicity comes into play, put the top 5 cards of your library face down on Duplicity. During your upkeep, you may exchange all the cards in your hand for the cards on Duplicity. Not bad. At the end of your turn, choose and discard a card. Well, that's bad. And then if you lose control of Duplicity, put all cards on it into your graveyard. Pretty cool. You have to discard cards, but that's fine. Okay, next up, we've got Rated Lex. Ideas Unbound, a little late to the show today. And also, that unfortunately gets sniped. Or not sniped, but unfortunately we did that one already. But so we are going to donate it, Rated Lex, to... Crowcore Games wants a second card. So you're going to get the Jolly Balloon Man. End step is totally a downside. Slowly shoves death and ETB creatures away. 3 mana for a 1/4 human clown. It the clown, I'm sure. Haste, pay 1, tap. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. Except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types. And it has flying and haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. Definitely counts. I think we did Final Fortune. Hold on, I'm just... Glorious End. I'm going to be 100%... Yeah, we did this one. Final Fortune. Pretty sure we did that one as well. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we've done that one. Toads, Hercule's final meditation. That sounds grim. Was this before Hercule died? 7 mana for an instant. As long as it's not your turn, this spell costs 3 more to cast. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hand, and you get to end the turn. You know, it's in some cases that could end up being a good thing. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. End the turn. Am I supposed to count the end the turn cards? I guess you just don't end up getting to the end step. I didn't think about that. Did that super chat with Measure of Wickedness go through yet? Did you super chat? Measure of Wickedness. I don't see any super chat with Measure of Wickedness. Okay, we have a 4 mana enchantment. No, we did this one. Yeah, we did this one. Sacrifice it. Yeah, at the end of your turn, sacrifice Measure of Wickedness, and you lose 8 life. But then you can give it to somebody if you discard the card. The Gozen, no 5 cards yet. I don't even know if you got a second card. Oh yeah, Glorious End. Damn, are we done? I guess this was a tough show. We have like a million people suggesting Glorious End at this point. There we go. We have something new. Hungry Lynx. I am hungry for new cards. 2 mana for a 2/2. Cats you control have protection from rats. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent creates a 1/1 black rat creature token with that touch. And whenever a rat dies, put a +1/+1 counter on each cat you control. You're investing. You're investing rats. You're investing in a rat farm for your cat family. Mason. Pyromancer's Swath. 3 mana enchantment. If an instant or sorcery source you control would deal damage to a creature or player, it deals that much damage +2 to that creature or player instead. At the beginning of each end step, discard your hand. Okay, we have a Bryce with Dread Feast Demon. We're picking up here in the end. We're picking up. Nadim is like, it's refreshing to come back to MTGO after Yu-Gi-Oh! Binge. They always keep coming back. All right, Dread Feast Demon. A 7 mana for a 6/6 demon flying. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. Now, if you do, create a token that's a copy of the Dread Feast Demon. That's almost like a good thing. It's close. Unless there's a ley line of singularity on the battlefield. Oh, what else do we have? Pyron, Kier, Junko Bell. Yet another sack a creature at end of turn. Is it Junkyo? Junkyo Bell! Extremely obvious notice, though. Okay, 4 mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may have target creature you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. If you do, sacrifice that creature at end of turn. This card perfectly counts for the show. Perfect card. Summer Mermaid Star. Push the limit. Push it to the limit. Make use of those vehicles and mounts while you can because they're going to die at end step. 5 mana sorcery. Return all mount and vehicle cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Vehicles you control become artifact creatures until end of turn. Wow, it's the rise of the machines. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. What the flip is a Junko? Junko Bell. Sorry, it's a Junkyo Bell, not a Junk. It's Junkyo. And these are the Junkyoians. Where's the Yoshi's Island music? You want to hear it for a second? And I think it's time for the glorious end. Like what I did there, fellas? You like what I did? All right, thank you very much for joining me today. As usual, we do this show 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, we have to thank everyone who supports the show financially. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And thank you so much for being here today. You know what? The topic was hard, but I think we did pretty good. But thanks to the help of viewers like you, like Summer Mermaid Star, Rated Lex, Benovsky, Benjamin Berkeley, Nadim, Mr. Cheese, Poof. What else? We have Hexenor, Christopher B, Chris Bonehead, Toads, Benovsky, Summer Mermaid Star, Varg, Kankusha. Wow, everyone's coming out at the end. Where were all of you during the show? Little Dead Fly, Pyron Kier. Because you guys are part of the show. We are what makes the show every single day. So keep bringing up those coffees, Coffee Crew. Zybernation, and we'll see you at the next cup.